There we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure and privilege to be here each and every weekend with Diana and Gary. We love connecting with our Australasian community, and it's great to see some New Zealand people here today. I'm not sure if we have any Singapore community at all, but we also know on Saturdays everybody's really busy. So we appreciate you no matter when you're having time to listen to this and watch this recording. Where it's added a whole other element for us, Demra, for us to be on video. I mean, Diana and I have to get out of our pajamas a bit earlier on Saturday morning, but it's great. I also want to say just a little housekeeping. There's no call next weekend because of the Energize events in Brisbane. So Diana, Gary, and myself will be there. Apologies to all the rest of you who will have a Saturday off. And the following week, we have Dr. Nugent. He's going to be launching our Glyco Cafe into Australasia, which is very exciting. I'll be able to, I was telling everybody, I have my best mum in the world cup this morning with my Oso latte, and I'll be able to add some Glyco Cafe within a week or so. So fantastic. So I'd like to, I think it was even when I looked back, it was 2011 was the last time we've had Demra on our call.
Wow.
So I'll just give you a little bit about Demra's background. Just forgive me here. There we go. So Demra Robbins is a born and bred Texan and lives near Dallas. She is married to Ryan, the middle son of Ray Robbins, not Kevin, just to make that clear. Haha. She is a member of 3 kids, 16, 12, and 9, that keep her calendar full each week. Most importantly, she is an unbridled lover of Jesus. For over a decade, Demra used her speech and marketing degree as an advertising executive who worked till 9 p.m. each night, which then ultimately compromised her health. When she became a mom, she realized that she wanted more freedom to be with her family, a better quality of life, and more say in her paycheck. So Demra is now a social entrepreneur who loves to teach and train those who desire a healthier and wealthier lifestyle. So Demra, she's, I don't know if you've had the blessing to hear her speak. I recommend, beyond what we're going to do here this morning, to make sure you check out on Manatech Live. She did an outstanding presentation recently there, and I think everybody should watch it. She loves to help others break through barriers to reclaim their joy and purpose within. And Demra believes that when you finally decide you can do it and choose faith over fear, you'll become unstoppable. So those are powerful words for our guest this morning. Demra, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on. What an honor. This is just wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, we've got a great community, isn't it? It's so heartfelt, and we do such good, no matter whatever action, whoever you're listening, if you're new to our company, whatever action you take, you bless somewhere out there. And they're, Demra, they're praying for what we have. So we need to get better at sharing this message, and that's what we're about today. So Demra, tell us how you got started.
Well, I actually got started because in my bio, I said my job had compromised my health. And when you work until 9 o'clock at night in a very high stress environment, full of deadlines, dealing with multi-million-dollar accounts, your stress level really starts to degrade you. Your momentum and your passion and your purpose and just your overall well-being and feeling can diminish sometimes in the cubicle. And I just realized over time that my stomach and my digestion system was such that my husband, now boyfriend then, he had taken me to the hospital twice, and they didn't really have any answers. And they didn't have a pill. Now there's a pharmaceutical pill for pretty much everything under the sun. Back then, they didn't have anything they just said, lower your stress level and eat more fiber and drink more water. And I'm like, there was just nothing else they could do. So I went searching, and my husband now, Ryan, said, you really need to come and listen. You need to come listen to these doctors. And I'm a strong woman, and I thought, okay, well, we're just dating, and that's their thing. But I went to the corporate office where I still speak now, 16 years later on that stage. And I heard those doctors talk, and I took copious notes. And back then we didn't even have internet. That was 1996. And I went to the library and looked up the microfiche of some of the things that they were talking about, some of the doctors, and I was blown away that what they were saying was true. And so I thought, well, if it just even works a little bit, it would be worth it to me, because the productivity at work and my joy had left. I loved my job, and then my joy left. So I started the products. It took me about 6 months to really regain my health fully, and I will just never ever go back. I just think I couldn't go a day without Amber Toast now. It really did change the quality of my life that much.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? I can identify with that. So, how did that shift then happen from using the wellness technology and feeling the benefits to, possibly was it stair step? Did you start sharing and then choose a business, or how did that transition happen for you?
Well, actually, my coworkers started noticing that I wasn't calling in sick, and that I was in a better mood and more joyful, and not in the ladies' room as much. And they noticed that I was being able to eat more. My palate was expanding. I wasn't afraid to eat things as I was before, and they noticed. And so I just kind of started talking and sharing a little bit at a time. And then it hit me when Kevin's wife, Dawn, Jordan, was having a birthday party, and Kevin was the only dad there. And Ray was the only other man there. And I remember, and we just kept having these events in the family. And then they'd go off to Hawaii every January, and they'd go on the incentive trip. And Ryan and I both had corporate jobs. And I thought, something doesn't feel right here. So when Ryan and I decided to start, trying to have a family, I knew deep down in my heart that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to have that freedom, and I wanted my husband to come and be involved in our family as well. And so the transition happened slowly. I'd get off of work. I'd leave my office at 7 o'clock at night and go straight to the corporate office at 7:30. And then on the weekend, I started doing trade shows. Back then we wore polo shirts with Manna Bears on them. And it just started very small, but I had a team of people at my office that started taking the products, and it didn't really kick off into a business until I decided to come home. So yeah,
Fantastic.
it was a small transition, but then it turned from products into a business, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And so what did you do to get your business? So there'll be people identifying with you today, there'll be some brand new people to the company. What did you do? There's a lot you can understand on reflection, I bet.
Yeah.
Was it like a straight meteor rise to presidential, or what was your journey like?
No, no, no. And for all of you moms listening, my best advice for moms, young and old, because the last time I spoke with you, my kids were 2, 6, and 11. Have grace for yourself. Have grace for yourself. Have grace for yourself. Have grace for yourself. You can only do what you can only do, and sacrificing your family is not the answer at the end of the day, because you're the only one that will feel guilty. They will not remember if mom missed, a goodnight kiss. You will, and you'll feel it in your heart. And so I started talking to Ryan, and I said, I really want to do this. And so we came home, and I joined a mom's play group called MOPS International and Moms. And we had play groups, organized play groups. So I was put into a play group, and then I started hosting neighborhood gatherings, just brown bag lunch. Come to the house, bring your brown bag, because we've all, most moms have left their job, left their income, and now we've gone from this great income down to zero. So bring your brown bag lunch, and let's just get to know each other, and we'll let our kids play in the yard. We'll talk about, the struggles and challenges with nursing and having 2 and 3 and all that, and discuss a way that we could still stay home. Because a lot of people would come to the brown bag lunches and they were on maternity leave, and they didn't want to return to work. And then there are others, moms, that I encourage all of you, give them the freedom, if they are a working mom, to do both. I really have a heart for moms, because we really take that mental load of everything in our family. As much as involved as all of our spouses or significant others are, it kind of all falls back on us. We feel responsible for everyone, and all, everything. All the teacher emails typically come to us, not necessarily the dads. I don't know why that is. So our mental load is so heavy that leverage became my mission. Leverage for these moms that were coming home from maternity and didn't want to go home, or leverage for moms that wanted to go back to work just to finish out some things, maybe for a few years until their kids got a little older and then come home, to know that they could do both, that it wasn't an either or. And so my strategy was to get in front of as many moms as I could. And back then we didn't have Zoom webinar. We did have conference calls, we had cassette tapes, but bringing people into my home and meeting them at the park, we'd have park play dates, brown bag lunches. One time we hired a babysitter to come over to the house. And all the kids were in another room playing Ring Around the Rosie, and all the moms were in there talking and sampling Manna Bears and talking about what we can do. So I highly recommend the strategy was feel-good products, because when you're a new mom, you're exhausted, you're tired, you're burning the candle at both ends. So the feel-good products like Plus and Amber Start and Amber Toast, things that make you feel good quickly, were always the best sellers, and people saw that and then they reordered quickly. So that was kind of my strategy starting out. The path was long, tired. I cried. I wanted to quit. I thought I couldn't do it. I lost belief in myself over and over. I thought, is this worth it? And Kevin, my brother-in-law, just kept saying, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And he had such wise words. And my father-in-law, Ray, kept telling me, you're in the trenches now, so that when your other moms come along, you can show them how to get through the trenches. And it was really peaceful words. They settled into me, and I thought, this is good, because right where I am is right where I'm supposed to be. And I'm learning everything that I'm supposed to learn right in this moment with my kids at this age. And every age becomes more busy, different schedule, different chaos. And so have grace for yourself in the moment, and just realize you can make an impact on somebody's life right where you are. Don't think, I'll wait till my kids are back in school, or I'll wait till they're older, or I'll wait till I'm not nursing, or when I'm not, when my husband's helping more. Right now, you can change the life of someone else just by sharing your heart and leveraging your time. So that became my mission, was leverage.
Those are very wise words, Demra. So we'll get to some of the how-tos, because I know you've had a really fantastic launch of the new comp plan. I heard on Manatech Live. Yay. We'll get back to that. But what kind of, just to inspire people as to the changes you've been able to enjoy, being presidential in Manatech, which for those of you that are new, that means you're earning, pretty well full-time, a modest full-time income. How has that impacted your life now, being able to stay home and improve the finances into the household?
Oh, well, one, I think it's twofold. One, for myself and my spirit, my mother wasn't around when I was little, and I wanted to be there for my kids. And so it just filled me up inside more than I thought it would, being able to be there with them. That desire was so hungry. And so being with them was the most joyful thing I could think of. So instead of using them as my excuse, I started using them as my reason. And as soon as I started working and knowing that they were the reason I was doing this, we started winning incentive trips. So the first incentive trip we won was Alaska cruise. And I had some team members go with me, and the joy and the fun, you rub shoulders with people. There's a new incentive coming out. Oh my goodness, just going on an incentive trip with your family and taking those free trips. And then over the years, once I got to presidential, I've taken my kids to Hawaii 7 times. Wow. And I've told them, y'all are way more spoiled than a lot of other kids. That, my father did not go to Hawaii till he was 50. They've been 7 times. My littlest is 9 now. We've been on mission trips. We've been able to take the product to Nicaragua. And I've been able to work with moms that have called and said, I went back to work and they let me go. Now what? And I've been able to work with moms that are like, I'm at my rope's end. I really want to be home. How do I get there? And then I've been able to work with moms that are like, I love my kids, but they drive me crazy during the day, and I need to go to work to have adult time, people time. But I really want to have enough income so that I'm not tied to that 9-to-5 job, so that if I want to take more vacation, I can, so that I can cut my schedule back or maybe leave early a few days. So it's really helped in all the aspects, from business, helping others, from a missional standpoint, from my own personal heart purpose, and from travel with our family. And then again, of course, having that extra income. Where else in the world can a stay-at-home mom be inducted into the $1 Million Club? I don't know of any other answer or option where women like us can do something that's so purposeful and passionate around our children's schedule and our family schedule, and make the kind of income that we can make. And the new comp plan is going to be really big for a lot of people, really big for a lot of people.
Well, I'm inspired. Let's get going. So beyond the lifestyle changes, let's get down to helping people achieve some of what you're talking about for themselves. So how do you get new people started in the business? What's your advice?
In the olden days, it was really more of a straight funnel. Now we've got all these great resources and avenues. And so I just recorded a video today that will be part of the training for the Saturday training tomorrow called Follow Up and Close. And the old Follow Up and Close is sign here on the dotted line, here's your kit. The new Follow Up and Close really is more about what do you want life to be? How do you want to work this business? For example, you were saying we didn't have Zoom webinars. I love Zoom. This is my third Zoom webinar today, and I've still been able to go take my child to get football pads today, and take one to physical therapy, and I'm about to head out to gymnastics here in a little bit. So Zoom webinars, I would say, are personable, face-to-face. They're great prospecting tools, they're great closing tools, and they're great team tools to build up that excitement. So we've used Zoom webinars when, and I've got one on Monday. I have a brand new person, and I said, I don't live in Louisiana, so get me in front of your people and just let me talk to them. Let them download every question that they have to me. And that way they're saying no to me, or their objections are to me instead of you. And your relationship stays intact, and then I can answer all the hard questions for you. And so we're doing that more for new people to take the pressure off of them. We still do our Tuesday Night Live meetings, bringing people to, there's just something about being in person that's real energetic and friendly, and things come up when you're in person sometimes that don't come up when you're on the phone. We do trade shows, but not as much. So when I get someone started, I'm asking them the closing questions. I'm walking through their schedule. This is kind of how I get someone started. I'll show you my little thing. I did a role play with Lori Lambert about this, where you do their schedule and see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, when can they work? And this is real important for moms, because the X's is when they're not willing to compromise their family time. And then you fill in, when can you work? And then that way, in that time when they're working, they're feeling good about working instead of the mom guilt that we always get of I should be working or I should be with my family. So when I get someone started, this is the first thing I do. Let's look at your calendar and see when you have time to work, because if they don't know when they're going to work or how they're going to work, they're not going to work. And so we have to help them. I'm available at this time too. So I'll put you in on my calendar on Mondays from 10:30 to 11. If you have any questions, if you want to talk about strategy success tracker, if you want to have a prospect on the call, if you want to do a training, if you want to talk about products, do some samples, this is our time together now. So the calendar is a really big part of that. I also still use the success guide. Do y'all have that in Australia?
It's just being updated.
Okay, so this is a great, and it's on system.manatech.com as well. Lori Lambert did a great job of the 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, and there's a first 48 hours. So what I like to do is show somebody this script so they don't have to say no and everything. So we have a calendar, we know when we're gonna work. We have a script, we know what we're gonna say, and we start making our names list. And if we can do that, then they feel like they've already achieved something. They already can see some people that might be interested. And so I'll ask them, tell me some people in your ballet class, some people you go to church with, somebody in your PTA. Well, how about a neighbor? Who's interested in health or wellness? And we just are writing names down. And really, you do fill up a page, because we all know a lot of people. Doesn't mean we're going to contact everyone, but if I can leave someone with a schedule of when they could potentially work and a list full of names, the belief in them at the very beginning skyrockets. They think, I've already got a business plan in place, and I've already got some clients I could start to talk to, and I've got a team leader who's willing to help me in this process. It goes a little faster. So system.manatech.com is how I get people started. I use the success tracker. Let's see, I wrote it down something else. Business partners. I love to ask someone when I'm getting them started, like if they've just signed up, I say, do you have a family member or a best friend that you absolutely trust, that absolutely trusts you? And if you do, can we call them right now? Because if they're excited and we've just gotten them going and they know that they won't be rejected by this one person, we can call that person and say, hey, we're just starting out. We're wanting to know, would you like more information? We would love to start her team and have an accountability. And she thought of you because XYZ. And you edify that person. And typically their best friends or their best family member, they like to join with them, even if it's just for moral support. And then it really gives them that sense of, I can do this. So there's several different ways to get people started online, in person, with webinars, but I'm still kind of a pen and paper gal. And I like to show people truly when you can work, who we can work with, and how I'm going to help you, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely fantastic. And for Australasians listening today, the system that Demra is talking about will be available for us in our own site by October 1st. So that's when we're swapping over. But you can get a sneak peek. I've been looking at the US system. So, and it's very, it's everything someone needs to get started now, isn't it, Demra?
Yeah, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And it helps you send it through social media on Facebook, or email it, or download it and print it. They've got videos, they've got closing scripts, they've got product information. It's kind of like an organized library.manatech.com is what I think. You go to the library and you can search for everything, but system.manatech.com is kind of like, here's how you do this. It's the funnel. But helping people see the hours in their schedule, because a lot of us with children and their schedules, we're all managing 4 or 5 calendars with our families, sometimes more if you have more children. And so you just can't think that I don't have time for that. That's the first objection all the moms get is, I don't have time for that. So this little trick of just drawing a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then exit, just start with the when are you not available and exit out. And you're kind of honoring them in that moment and telling them, I'm not going to infringe on your family time, and I'm not going to ask you to give up your family time. You tell me when you're not available to work, what you're not willing to compromise. Now let's look where we can work. And then you fill in. And amazingly enough, this is something I did last week. I found 7 hours in her week. and she had no idea. She was like, 7 hours. I said, you're not going to work every minute of those 7 hours on Manatech. Maybe you're going to take a bath or a nap or a shower or just read a book and zone out, go sit in the sun for a minute. But now we know you have the freedom of 7 hours a week to work. And it lights them up that they really believe it paints that vision for them that they can do it. And that leverage again is what I was talking about. So I hope that answered your question.
It does. And I think many of us who've been with Manatech, I think it's 20 years for me this year.
Wow.
Yeah, and I love it as much now as I did then. But for many of us that have been for a long time, one of the great things about Manatech is everything we offer. And one of the challenges is to bring that down into a succinct step-by-step thing. And I'm so excited that, I'm proud that Manatech's brought this out, because that's what it's going to do, isn't it? Pull it all together.
That's right. And when I start with moms, especially, I am focusing on the kid-friendly products and the feel-good products. And that's kind of the Amber Toast. I still start with Amber Toast. The True Health was great. And I had some families that I knew could afford that, but some families couldn't. And so I just you have to think of other things that gives them a quick, instant feel good. We live in this microwave society, and especially moms, they want energy, they want health, they want their kids to be healthy. So the ImmunoStart, the probiotics, the enzymes, the Amber Start, the Amber Toast. I don't know if y'all have all of those products, but something that has a really good feeling and they can tell. Those were always my best sellers, especially in the mom arena. And then now they've got these great little value bundles too, which I'm super excited about.
Yeah, those are coming to Australia too. They're working on them now as we speak. So, and the other thing is, I know let's include some of the information about the new plan. So I know you just had a massive action plan. Tell us about what you've done over the last months leading up to the start of the new comp plan.
Well, honestly, I just started working again. I went through a transition with my sister-in-law, Marla. We used to be the Manna sisters for 15 years. And she is now the children's minister at her church and teaching Spanish preschool age, which is her passion. And I love it. And I'm so happy for her and I'm blessed with her. But we went through a little transition where I didn't really know who I was or how I was supposed to work by myself. And so I feel like I'm starting over again. And somebody asked me a few weeks ago, they said, what's been the secret to your success lately? And I said, I just started talking to people again. And when I didn't know how I was going to work and when I was going to work and who I was working with, I got stuck in analysis of paralysis. And I just kind of did everything family, and Manatech was on the back burner for a few years. And even in that midst, I was like, I really want it to go back to the front burner, but I wasn't sure how. And so for me, the incentive, the Puerto Rico incentive, really got me going. And then the M5M incentive really got me going. And so I can't believe I won the M5M incentive, and I get to go on an incentive trip in September to Guatemala with my husband. And then in October, we get to go to Puerto Rico. So having a trip and getting back around the people that I love to be around, because Manatech people are positive people. And it's good to be around people who want to build you up instead of tear you down. And so having a goal, I also went through a PD boot camp at corporate, which I think they're going to launching soon everywhere. I know they've just had 2 run-throughs, and having that accountability from Bob and Terry and Sona really helped. So I would suggest for those of you that are stuck right now, or maybe you know, with Manatech, we've gone through ups and downs, and that's life, and that's business, and that's family. And I really switched my mindset from victim to victor. So we have to just kind of get out of the victim mindset of, I don't really know what I'm doing, so I'm not going to do anything. Or, my kid's schedule's too busy, so I don't have time to work now. I just thought, no, this is a victory in the moment where I am. I can still change lives. I can still do this. And having that accountability was really big for me. So I highly recommend having an accountability partner, and possibly not even your upline. Because I know for me, my brother-in-law, Kevin, has never once called me and said, now, Demra, did you make your calls today? He's not going to do it, because I'm going to say, wait, I'm changing laundry, and I've got to get to the store, and we're off to gymnastics. And, and his wife is doing most of that for him, and he's working at the corporate office all day. So that kind of accountability coming from someone like me to another mom going, okay, have some grace for yourself. What can we do this week? And so we've had some honest conversations, me and my girlfriends that are on the team, that are leaders, that are moms, that are still nursing. They got little kids. One of my girlfriends has had a baby 19 years apart.
Wow.
So they were empty nesters, and they were bragging about being empty nesters. One went off to college, and now they have another baby, and he just turned 1. And so when we talk, it's not what have you done today and check that off the list accountability. It's what would you like to accomplish this week? And we're giving ourselves more freedom in our schedule to, and here's my list, and this is my to-do list for the last 2 days. So I just made every single thing that I needed to do, and I just said, I can't get it all done today. I'm going to give myself 3 days to get it all done. So that is kind of how the massive action started, is when I released myself and gave myself grace and put a plan into place of, I'm going to set Zoom hours and set up webinars. And so I called on my team leaders and I said, I love this Zoom. I want to start talking to you all again. Let's get on the webinars. And it held myself accountable. When someone's waiting for me to get on and join a webinar with them, like you guys have every Saturday, it keeps everyone accountable. So that has been accountability, the Zoom webinars. And then instead of having a checklist of stuff, just a freedom of what do we want to accomplish this week, and give it an organic feel of how it might happen. And I can be a little bit stringent on myself sometimes. So giving it the freedom of, well, it might not be tonight, but maybe it'll be Friday. Well, maybe I'll talk to them in Carline. Maybe I'll talk to them in the park. And instead of beating myself up that I didn't say anything at the park, I just give myself, well, I'll see them in Carline on Friday or at the football game. So that might be a shift. It was a shift in my brain. And it really is. There's really no magic to it. It's just shifting the perception and deciding I'm ready to do it and I can do it in this moment. And that's what I say. When you decide that you can do it, you really are unstoppable. The day I told my husband, I really want to go to Puerto Rico. And he's like, well, go. And I'm like, I don't know if I can. He's like, yeah, you can. I'm like, I can? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go to Puerto Rico. Somebody called me out of the blue. I got a random retail order. I mean, it was just like, it just opened up. Like I allowed it to come back into my life. You know, I had been kind of pushing it away, not knowing. So I don't know if that makes sense or if it's a little woo-woo-y, but I just truly feel that once you decide, things will start falling into place. And you still have to do the work, of course. And I started making more phone calls and doing more webinars. And that's when on the webinars, we started signing people up and people started coming to the trainings. And all you need is one person that is as excited as you to have somebody to keep that morale going. And then the team starts to expand.
Can I let you brag about your recent outcomes and results to get you those incentives? And
oh, I don't even know if I know them all. I know I was in the top 5 recruiter for M5M, which, you know, I kept thinking, but it was only North America and Canada. So I knew that I was not out enrolling the Koreans, or, you know, they always told me with. Let's see. I think we had 20, I had 21 maybe in the last 2 months. Now my father-in-law, Ray, he's so funny. Sometimes he mistakes words. And so I think from the last training, he said I out enrolled everyone in the world. And so, no, I out enrolled everyone in my boot camp, which is 16 leaders who are all presidentials. And so I won Puerto Rico first out of my group, and I also was the highest enroller out of that group. So that's who I was the top enroller for. And Ray was like, "She's out enrolled the world."
Well, we love Ray's vision. It's global, isn't it?
I love it. I love it. But I knew that I did not enroll the Koreans or some of the Chinese. But I will say, the Puerto Rico trip, the M5M. We've gotten back to our leadership level that I've been desiring, and raising people up again. I've even had success with people. I called them and said, it's time to go on a trip again. They've been out of the system for 5 years. They've even been scrubbed out. And I Facebooked them and said, I just missed you. There's a new incentive coming out and I would love to go on a trip again. And she signed up as an associate again. She was in Alaska with us, 12, 15 years ago, and hasn't bought product in like 5 years. And now she's an associate again and can't wait for the new announcement. So just the accomplishment for me, more so than Puerto Rico and M5M and all this out enrolling stuff, is that I'm reaching out to people that really mattered to me that I kind of let slip away over those few years when I didn't know what I was doing or how to work. Now I'm really caring about people again and loving on people again. And that's where the success has really just had such great momentum.
Fantastic, Demra. I think just before I move on, I want to highlight for people listening today the longevity of this commitment. Like the beauty of residual income. I've had a similar experience where in the last, 5 years, I've had to focus on something else, and I felt so split because I think everybody that knows me knows how passionate I am about Manatech, but I just had to do something else, and it had to be my number one. And I'm in that same transition right now. And I made a decision a month ago, and people have been coming out of the woodwork, new people. I'm talking about it, and it feels good. And because I've had that residual income, it didn't stay as high as it was forever. It didn't stay at the highest amount, but it was always there as my foundation. It's always paid for all of our product and some of our households. So that's just, I can't describe how blessed, it's not the right word, but how important that is and how valuable that is.
Right. Absolutely. And I felt the same way, that over those ours was a 3-year transition. And although I was still working, I was doing trainings, webinars, more face value stuff. I wasn't really actively recruiting. I was just supporting. And I just went into management mode. And yeah, the residual was still there. And I just thought, well, this is still fantastic. But I knew there was more. Yeah. And I knew there were more people that had fallen off, because if I'd fallen off a little, they'd fallen off a little. And when I decided that my falling off really was them falling off, and I got back to, I need to help them back to where they are, it raised me back to that level. And honestly, my check, my brother-in-law, he called the other day and he's like, I think your check's going to double. And I was like, you mean I'm going to double what I've been making the last 3 years? Like, I started crying. I was weeping that all it took was a decision in my heart to go back and do it. And then it opened up. And of course I did give myself a little bit of a pity party, as moms like to do that. I was like, man, why didn't I do that last year? But it wasn't the time. Now is the time. The new compensation plan, the incentives, Lori Lambert, so many things are coming together in Manatech. And I know that we've said that before, because it seems like Manatech always has these great, wow, I can't believe they've come on and it's just the perfect timing. But I truly believe that with the way that the e-commerce, and I know we're going to talk about that in a minute, where it's going and where Manatech is headed, that this leverage piece that I've been praying about and wanting so desperately for the moms especially, who are trying to juggle the mental load and the schedules of all 5 people in their family, it's like it's right around the corner. So hang on, moms, hang on. It's coming. It's here.
And so this is we're going all over the place here in a bit, but I think another important point to touch on is for people, I guess, even new people or people that are longstanding with Manatech, when people feel stuck about finding new people. So obviously you've talked about making that decision and it's magnetic. What else do you advise for people go, well, I don't know who to talk to anymore, or I don't know anyone?
Well, when they say they don't know anyone, then I say, okay, let's look at your organization and who haven't you called to say, how you doing? Because referrals is the easiest way. Maybe they have burned all their bridges and they truly don't have anyone to talk to. So there's a few things that person can do. He can do a meetup. He can, join a new club. He can hang out in the vitamin aisle at the grocery store. There's some very bold people, but again, you have to get into what your comfort zone is. So I don't want to push anyone outside of what they're comfortable doing. I know Lori Lambert said that she once took a prospect into a dressing room and was telling the girl to talk to the lady. And I was like, oh, no, that's not me. That's not my personality. But that's totally her personality. So I think that in that moment, what I've been doing with all my new people coming on board is asking them, how do you like to talk to people? And some people want to find Facebook ads and Facebook posts and send personal messages. So what I've been, for those who aren't face-to-face and use social media, I've been helping them craft messages of sending it, like somebody's posting that they're juicing or they're complaining about their weight loss, or they're trying to look for healthy family recipes. That's a great time to personal message that person and say, hey, guess what I've been doing? It's really fun. You should check it out. Just send them a little message. Now, most people, it will take them 2 or 3 times of you kind of dripping on them for them to actually get it. But that has gotten a lot of likes, so to speak, or messages back of, okay, thanks, I'll look at it. And then some people are joining meetups and running groups, play groups, like I mentioned, like I did. You have to get out of your comfort zone to kind of meet some new people. Take a class. I know one of my people in San Antonio has just joined Toastmasters. What a better way to write speeches about what you love and present it to everyone in the class. And so we've had that, and then there's some people that, like my new mom, Amanda, she says, I'm just not in front of people. Her baby's only 1. She's not in preschool. There's no PTA. There's no soccer, And so I said, okay, well, let's think about neighbors, church, family members, high school friends. Let's think about some people that you know. And instead of you calling them and saying, hey, would you like to, call them and say, hey, I really, really want to stay home. And I think I've found something that I want to do. And I'm wondering if you can help me. Do you know anybody who would love this product for their kids? And then that has turned into referrals for her. And then in 2 months, she got to regional. And then 3 months, she texted me. She's like, I have $700 waiting in my bank account. She couldn't believe that asking other people to just give referrals instead of asking them personally, they just started sending her referrals. And she was asking for help. She said, this is what I really want to do. Again, I've decided to stay home. I'm giving up my income and I really want to do this and be home with Layton. Can you help me? Who do you know that might be interested? And people would say, maybe my friend Nicole would. Another idea that we just did a few weeks ago is gyms. Do y'all have workout gyms that have
everywhere?
Yeah. So they are free. I don't know if y'all have it there, but we have free booth days at the gyms here in the States. And you can just call and ask, when are you having a vendor show, basically? And other people will come and bring their table. And do y'all have the True Pure Detox Slim Stick?
Yes.
The True Health? Okay. So we just bought from Walmart these little carafes. They're clear glass carafes, and we have sample cups. We made a peanut butter chocolate shake. We made a vanilla coconut shake, and we had the True Pure water with the Slim Sticks. And people, after they worked out, we'd say, would you like a healthy plant-based shake, or would you like a yummy lemonade detox shake? Everybody stopped by the desk that day. And then we had a little door prize form for them to fill out information, because people aren't going to sign up at the gym. They've just worked out, they're sweaty, they're ready to go home, or they're trying to get to work. But they will fill out a door prize form and drink a sample, and then you can follow up with them later. And so what we do is we man emotion people, or we send them a Facebook message. And so that's worked for us. That's what we've been doing for people who don't have warm market leads, is we're asking their warm market leads, who do you know? And then we're going to gyms and sending Facebook messages. So those are some of the marketing tips that we've done, and they've been pretty successful. I mean, we got a lot of leads out of the gym, and that was an easy zero. It cost us zero amount of money other than how to make the shakes. So it was very inexpensive too, which is always good when you're trying to build your business and you're brand new.
Cool. That's going to give people some things to do right now. And another thing that's really important for being successful in your goals in ManTech is to keep your mindset right. And beyond that, what other tips, mindset and other tips, would you recommend that are essential for success for people in ManTech?
Oh, I would say be clear about your goals. Write them in front of you. Have them visually in front of you. I'm a big dream board person. I'm a sticky note person. Can you see all my stickies? So I want to clear off. So as soon as I do something, I pull it off my wall and I throw it in the trash and I feel accomplished. And so I would say, be clear on your goals. I would say, share those with someone that is holding you accountable, whether that's your team leader or somebody else. Make sure they know. Make sure you know how to check Success Tracker. There was a little bit of confusion on the new compensation plan on the 60-40 versus 70-30. And some people last business period were trying to get back to executive. And that's the 6,000, the old national position. They thought they only needed 2,000. It's actually 2,400. And so I look at this little thing every day, and I can email this to you, Sharon, and you can send it. You can share it. This is my cheat sheet, and I have exactly what I need on the side. And so when I'm talking to people to help them be successful, I can tell them exactly what they need in their side leg to get to the next level. And I have the rough averages of what it pays out, so I can inspire them that if you get to this position, it's going to pay roughly this much. And so I love helping people with that. So I'd say a clear goal, knowing what the new compensation is.
In Australia, ours looks like this in Australia, sort of.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
So similar. They could, if you send us the cheat sheet, they can write on theirs.
Okay, perfect. So that is, I think that having a cheat sheet, instead of I listened to all those webinars, and still some things like the night before the last end of the business period, I was like, what? Wait, I missed that. How did I miss that? And so, and then this one is the other, y'all have the unilevel.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, but.
Yes. And so this is
this one, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Oh, I love it. Look, we're so much alike. This is really important for those of us who've been working kind of the 3-point plan and have really deep organizations.
Yeah.
So we really want to make sure, strategizing with people now to make sure that everyone at least gets to executive. They're at 6,000, so they can have that infinity and tap back into their organization so they're not cut off after level 4. And so getting with your team leader, your upline, whoever is doing compensation there in the Australasia area, making sure they have a clear goal of what it is. Another great thing to help people do is once you have that clear goal, 2,400 sounds like a lot. When you're telling somebody, okay, you have this big organization, you don't have a side leg, so I break it down. So I'll say 2,400. Let's say we're trying to get it in 2 months. So I'll divide that by 2. That's 1,200. So what can we do with 1,200? 1,200 sounds like a lot of volume in 1 month for one person. Let's just say True Health. So we divide that by 250. That's 4 True Health people. It's 4.8. So could we get 5 True Health clients this month? And that would get you 1,200 extra volume. And then next month, we'll help those people possibly get something, and that could be the 2,400. And then once we have an idea of who we want and what volume we want, then we say, well, how best to go after that target? Gyms, or getting on a chat board for calling personal trainers that we know, offering a free sample. People love free samples, free products for referrals. And so calling trainers and gyms if you're working on True Health, or salons if you're working on the youth. So I would say the strategy of knowing the new comp plan is pretty important right now, and then having that accountability to go work, and then your clear vision, your clear dream. Because if we really don't know where we're going, we're going to end up nowhere, and then we'll be like, well, why didn't we get there?
No, absolutely. And what do you do? I imagine you, like everybody else, have times when your mindset is less than positive, or you need to reboot. What do you recommend?
So it's funny that you ask, because I also kind of stopped running in the last few years. And so taking time to take care of myself, whether that's a hot bath with a book, reading. I'm not really a coffee drinker, but sitting outside in the sunshine with a glass of tea or water and doing a Bible study, reading a book, going on a walk with friends, that really just mentally, my husband and I have started doing date nights more. We kind of let the kids run our schedule for a while, and I just realized he can't be last on the chopping block, right? I mean, he needs to be moved forward, and Manatech can't, now that it's front, it can't be the first thing either. I had to kind of tear that down and put my family back. So I said, let's start doing date nights again. I started running again. And I've been taking more baths and reading more. And that just really gives me a little bit of a time. And even before I get on this webinar, I just take some deep breaths. Most of the time, and maybe you can relate, we are running from one event to the next, one call to the next, and pushing kids' schedules here. And I'm on the call while they're here. And And so just taking a mental, just breather, giving gratitude and thanks in that moment, seeing the positive instead of the negative. When I see that I'm in a victim mindset, I turn it around. So I might be, last week this happened to me. I was in between PT and volleyball, and I was on a webinar and I was late, and Terry was waiting on me, and I was like, ah. I mean, even now I've had all this great success and I still can't seem to fit it in my schedule perfectly every day. I just realized, you know what? I can. And I'm a mom. And instead of me saying, I can't believe I have to do this webinar in between my two kids' events, say, I can't believe I get to do this webinar in between my two kids' events. Because if I was working a 9 to 5, I wouldn't even be at those two kids' events. I'd be somewhere else. So changing that, that thinking in that moment has really helped me, if that answers your question. No, I keep going back to mindset. It's really big for me. Mindset is really a big one for me. But yeah, do something that you love. I called someone last week that I hadn't talked to in weeks, and I said, have you painted this month? And she said, no. And I said, you love to paint. That's your homework. The next time I talk to you, I want to hear that you've sketched something, you've painted something, and that's her outlet. Another one of my friends has horses. And so, you know, whatever that outlet is, share that with someone on your team. Let them know what your greatest joy is. I mean, all of us moms, we all love Manatech and we want to be as successful as possible, but my goal is not to be Albala. That's not my end all be all. You know, there's other dreams outside of Manatech that I want to achieve, and Manatech is the vehicle. And so when I realize I'm doing this for other things and I want to tell people what makes my heart happy, and then they remind me in that moment, I know it seems a little chaotic right now, but doesn't it always seem chaotic, especially with moms? When you're potty training, you're like, this is the worst, or when you're nursing in the middle of the night. But then when they start sleeping through the night, or when they're potty trained, all of that produced great fruit. And so we just have to remember in those moments to switch that and think this is a positive, and you'll get through it.
I think that subtle mind shift of looking at, we are, you know, we talk about this a lot on this call, that we are what we think, and what we think expands, and that we're the only one that can be totally 100% in charge of that.
That's right. That's right. And I went from working and having all these voicemails, and that's why I came up with my husband with Man Emotion. I said, I need to be able to email people at night and them order while I'm sleeping. And I need to be emailing them while they're sleeping, because that's when I work, is after the kids have gone to bed. And people go, well, how did you make it into the $1 Million Club? And I say, while you were sleeping. You know, so in those moments where you're caught in the middle of the night with a child up, and sometimes it produces great thoughts. Journal what you want to do. Maybe some great ideas will come to you for your business, or send an email and check on someone that you haven't, you know, write a note, a handwritten note, send someone an encouragement in those moments when you're stuck. That's those things that you can't really always have a closing call, but you can send little encouragements to keep your business going in those moments when you get stuck. So making the best of every situation and turning it into a Manatech opportunity, it has helped the momentum as well, because I'm getting 10 times the amount more done now than I was when I wasn't working as much. And it's because I'm using all the little times in between as an opportunity, and emailing people at night, or so yeah, it's been a great shift of working again.
Fantastic. I know everybody can tell, Demra, and it's also know that it's going to have blessed people. I've got some messages. Love that cheat sheet. So fantastic. So where do you see Manatech going now and into the next 5 years?
I really see e-commerce, which I think is exciting for all of us moms who are at home working. The e-commerce and the China, I think if we can tap into, and if you'll help me too, I really would love for Russ Wood and the corporate office to put together something that is possibly recorded in Chinese to explain how we can get our personal USI number out. Do y'all have the My Tai China website?
We've had a call on that before. I'm not up to speed with where it's at now, though.
I think it's an untapped potential. I think that this, everybody on the call today should call 1-800-28, is y'all's number the same as ours? Probably not. 1-800-281-4469?
No.
Customer service line? Okay, so call customer service and you can get a USI number. And it looks like this, USI, and it's really long. And what we're doing is we're finding people on WeChat. And WeChat is sharing this My Tai China website where they can go and they have to have a referral number to order. And so all you're doing, I even had a missionary that went to China, and I said, I'm trying to feed children through the M5M program, and we know some products just left for Hong Kong, and I want to keep the donations going. I know you did mission work in China. Do you know anybody still there that might be interested? If I forwarded you a website, could you send along my reference number and keep these donations going? She was like, absolutely, thought it was a great idea. And I said, I'll send you a little Starbucks gift card. And so I think the e-commerce way of doing business, as Mary Jo Hilliker talks about in our trainings, really people aren't going to stores anymore. People are ordering online. People are having things delivered to their door. So e-commerce is about to hit us. And I'm not sure I love it, but it's the way that things are happening. I've told my children, people used to meet in the doctor's office. People used to meet at the grocery store. People used to talk on the bus. And now we've kind of pulled ourselves away from that. So instead of, back to our mindset, thinking of it as a victim and, oh, I'm losing market share, think of it as an opportunity. I'm gaining such a huge market share that I would never be able to tap into. And so I really feel like Manatech is moving into a position of streamlining the way they do business. The new compensation plan, it's really simple. It really is a lot less simple than the last compensation plan with the streams of income, the mentor bonus, the unilevel, the auto qual, the pod, as Ray calls it. If we can have people focusing on a few things like the pod and the mentor bonus or the auto qual to get $500 a month, that is so much easier to work than where we used to be. So I think we're streamlining our compensation. Our products are becoming more feel-good. I mean, I don't know what other feel-good. GenMax is incredible. True Health is incredible. The Glyco Cafe, I'm so excited it's coming to y'all. It is incredible. Those are feel-good products that people are searching for, and they see the results. So we're going to have retention increase, I believe. Whereas before, sometimes Amber Toast like myself, thank goodness I stuck in there for 6 months. A lot of people don't. And so I'm seeing retention come back because of the products. And I'm seeing the streamline with the compensation. And then again, this e-commerce with the China, I really truly believe that we can start getting orders out there. And just since the new website is launched, I got like 2 retail orders this week and I don't even know where they were from, some random. And I thought, well, this is a nice little gift, wherever that came from. And then sitting out my Man Emotion on Facebook with social media. So I really feel like leverage, which I really have been, I've been wanting to express leverage to people because I feel like we get into this business as moms and we're thinking we stayed home because we want to be with our family. And then we just shift our entire focus from one job to now Manatech that has overtaken our life. And we're making calls all hours of the day and our family's over there wanting our time and we're still, so the leverage of focusing on family and having the ability to work this Manatech business, I think is where we're headed. I really do think the e-commerce, the products, and the compensation is going to take us into more presidentials than we've ever had. The rank up idea, have y'all talked about that?
No, not on this call yet. I've seen it everywhere.
Great rank up things. Al Ball, if you can just find him on Facebook, he did a great rank up where you just went and looked at people's organizations and said, you're 30 away from ranking up. You're 100 away, 300 away from ranking up. And for some reason, just knowing they've gotten to the next leadership level, even though it's not paying possibly as much as they used to make, it's still now paying something, is exciting and motivating. So I love the rank up strategy as well. So I think we're going to have a lot of people ranking up with all of that.
And so, Demra, have I missed anything that you wanted to add before we complete?
No, I don't think so. I'm looking at all my notes here.
Tell us about M5M and what's in your heart to leave us with this morning.
Oh, M5M. There's only a quarter of the population that M5M really motivates. But I've said this at a training before that M5M really can be what motivates all the population. I believe if we take care of, and I don't know what faith that everyone is on the line. I'm a Christian, but I'm, very multicultural. I believe if we feed God's children, he's going to take care of ours. And so I really feel like if we can serve others with a clean heart and a happy heart and help feed these kids, we have a really big problem with us sending out relief food and we still have malnourishment. I see it in Nicaragua. My husband's been 11 times. I've been 4. We've had the privilege of taking our children twice to see these people who are, their restroom is the side of a mountain and there's no electricity and there's 14 people living in a shack, metal tin shack. The healthcare, they have no healthcare. Children there are dying from bronchitis, which is a simple solution with an antibiotic here or a breathing treatment. So really getting yourself outside. What M5M does is it really takes us outside of our little bubbles of where we live and what environment we're in. You know, whether you're affluent or not, we all kind of tend to be hunkered down about our own family, and we're all just surviving to get to our next goal or our next family event. And what M5M does is it really opens up the idea that you could make a global impact, and that we might not even be able to see that a whole impact, because that child that you fed with your donation may grow up to have children and change a whole legacy in his family. And so we can't think of it as just one belly that we're feeding at a time. We have to think of the ripple and the entire change that will happen over the next 50 years of these children becoming better learners, more temperament, you know, better feeling good, energetic, surviving, thriving, growing up and old enough to have a family and have education. So for M5M, for me, I love to explain to people that a mom like me in the States, I can change the world from right where I'm sitting. I love saying that because I don't know of what other job you feel like you're doing that. It's just so incredible that when I make a sale on any product that is the M5M, like they're sending out that, then they're matching the donations. Now, I do tell people, if you have an organization, I can't guarantee that my sale is going to help that organization. It's not tied. It's more of a numbers, and they total up the donations and they send them out. But it's also a great conversation starter for those of you out there who are a little nervous about talking about Manatech products. Start with M5M. Ask people, I am looking for organizations, feeding programs, schools, orphanages who have children at them, because I work with a company who supports M5M, and with every product sold, a donation goes to feed the kids, and I really want to help the kids. So I've had some people come on board that I was talking to them about in Kenya. Sam's Place is a new one. We just got on board with M5M. She's very interested in what Manatech is all about. She can't believe that her organization would get funding for free to get those kids the nutrition they need. And in Africa, these deaf children would be just left on the side of the road or burned in the middle of the night. I mean, just horrid stories that we can't even imagine. Really unhuman, the things that are happening to some of these babies. And knowing that we can reach out and ask our friends, hey, if you're going on a mission trip, or if you have some friends that are in that, or if you know some, humanitarian organizations that are feeding people, will you let me know who they are? Because I really want to send some free donations to them through the M5M. And then they say, what's M5M? M5M is part of Manatech, and then it's a natural lead in. So M5M is great for your business, and it's also great for getting you out of your comfort zone and helping you understand that the world isn't really just about us. It's really about all the impact, and we may never see that impact. Really, those of you who've been doing your business for 20 years, we just don't even know the impact that you've had. Some of the people in the business, maybe they've fallen off, but in that time in their life, Manatech was just what they needed, the income or the products. So it's great to know that you can impact other people and serve other people. And that just makes we're blessed to do this. We have an opportunity and an excitement to do this. We get to do this. Not that other people aren't blessed because they don't get to do this. They can do this. Everybody, it's a choice. We can do this. We can, we can do it. Or we can not do it. Some people, it's not for them. It's not their cup of tea. And you know what? That's okay. If not, no worries. That's my other favorite saying. If not, no worries. I'm just looking for people who want blueberries. If you love blueberries, come on board. If you're a strawberry girl, great. If you run across anybody who loves blueberries, let me know. And we just leave it just easy peasy like that. And the M5M is a great lead into that. So I have a great mission. I love that we just matched it. We got 6,000, more than 6,000, and corporate matched it. And now I get to go see these kids in Guatemala getting it firsthand in September. So I am super excited. Super, super excited.
Demra Robbins, thank you for blessing us so much this morning. I've got goosebumps on my goosebumps. I know, ladies and gentlemen, you can type in thank you to Demra. We can't open to hear you in this forum, but Demra, thank you so much. And remember, next week we have no call. So Demra, have a great Friday evening up to your next mom job. And thank you so much.
Yes, off to gymnastics. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. And I hope to talk to you again soon. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Demra. Thank you.
Bye-bye.